Hey.
Hello, hello.
How's it going?
I get to see the intro live.
So excited. Worked pretty smooth, right?
I like it. I like what you've got leading up to it, and then obviously I like the one that I make.
Yeah. Oh, that's good stuff. And we got Ken coming in on short. He'll be here soon. So keep the elevator music running for now. How'd everything go with like making all the weird cool stuff off stream, etc.? Whomever. Talking to both of you.
Making what cool stuff off stream?
Well, he was supposed to be making shield wall or whatever that was, and all that other stuff.
Oh, we didn't fucking do shit.
It went really well. It perfectly worked out.
Great. 100%. All items were created perfectly. Let me go to a list. What else did I create? Oh yes, I
have these twin.
We created the contract. And we're able to put in a clause that says that Ivar, if he touches Copperfield, null and voids the contract and instantly goes to Satan. So we did that, and that was successful. We had 10 critical rolls on that one, and it was beautiful.
It was just one single roll, but it just kept exploding.
Into infinity. So we won Shadows. Congratulations.
What are you guys talking about?
No.
We won Shadows.
Actually, literally nothing.
Nothing.
I asked them a question about what they did with like creating items, and they're like, "Oh, we totally did that," and discussed the things they did not do. So, in fact, nothing. Super glad to say this in person as well. It's like, so glad your cats are okay there, my friend, for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Glad that the rest of them didn't come up with anything weird.
Yeah, me too. The only two cats we need to test now is just Keeker and Shrimpy, but they are this type of retrovirus is less effective as the cats get older because their immune system is just more mature. And they also didn't interact with the cat that is positive very much. So we're pretty sure that we're safe. We're still getting them checked in 2 weeks because that's the only time it was available. But we're relieved because the Clover was the one that was most likely to have it, and he didn't. So, and I found out that Rango had an ear infection, so we're fixing that. So it's just a $700 later.
Oh, I know. That's why there's a cone on mine, and I'm not doing much else besides using some good old-fashioned ear drops. And I have to do the best I can with that.
Right.
It did give me an idea for something I want to draw, though. I want to create, because I do draw from time to time. But because she walks around... Well, it's weird. But, whenever I see her, I'm standing over the top and she's, out in the lawn or whatever, I just see her cone head turning around because I can't see her face, or it just looks funny to me. I'm just sort of either she's like the Demogorgon from Stranger Things, where she's constantly kind of, open all the time. Or I was like, wouldn't it be neat if I created some sort of, earth elemental that had a sort of a canine-like body, so it had 4 legs, right? But it's pure plant, so you can see the fibrous, the vines and all that other stuff going into thorns, which would be its claws, and then it would have this wispy tail that comes off the back, probably more than one, 3 or 4, and they all kind of go out to these fine, wispy vines as well, but they would have flowers and blooms all over the back of it. But the head would be this really big flower that would actually kind of open towards the front, and so you'd have these petals and such that would just kind of open up, and it would have things that it could do, it would Venus flytrap, insects would come in and it would eat like that, but it would also be able to like eject like certain kinds of like pollen or gases or dust, as defense mechanisms and stuff like that. But it'd be cool because it would be like this living creature that would be, I'd say, probably about the size of, like a pony, basically, something fairly large. But to me, it just looks really cool in my head. It's amazing looking in me. I just love it.
That sounds terrifying.
Monster
So
idea
what's
for
on
D&D.
what's on the docket for this evening? Are we gonna do just like give you a chance, D, to come up with something for the three of us to do while Drew is?
Oh, I'm gonna
or
proceed
Ivar is
onward.
Incapacitated.
My episodic stuff is going to continue, so no ceasing there. I think we had 2 weeks downtime from the last time that we were actually playing, if I'm not mistaken.
Because of myself. Well, no, you guys moved forward. You
Yeah,
only
that's what I mean. We
week
had
of
2 weeks
downtime.
Last week.
It was like a 1 week to 2 weeks worth of downtime after you guys got back, as far as I can remember. Because you guys.
Oh, you're talking about in-game downtime.
Yes, in game.
Okay. Sorry, I thought you were talking about in real life downtime.
Yeah, I don't really refer to any time I get off as downtime per se in this context. I'll be on vacation or I'm fucking about, that kind of thing. But
Spooking a boot. A boot.
Fukaboot.
Okay, I'll just get it out of the way. Fuck it.
What?
So, if I were to roll to create one of those objects, what's my difficulty? I'm just gonna roll it now and just see if I succeed.
Who are you making objects for?
I made for everybody else. I'll make one for myself.
Oh, well, you didn't make anything for me.
Fine.
We were
I'll
gonna-
make some. I'm gonna.
Well,
make
we're gonna
one.
try. Yeah.
I'm gonna try to make 3 items real quick. Okay, I'm just gonna. That is
Just
fucking
for real.
hilarious.
Awesome. That's
God damn it,
awesome.
God. I'm trying to be serious with the roll, then you do that shit to me.
That's awesome.
Dog
So I'm
Demogorgon.
I'm gonna try to make my 3 items real quick. What's my target?
Well, what's the first one? Because it's going to depend on what you're making.
I'm going to make ribs. Oh, fuck. What did you want, Riv?
I wanted the one that makes it easier for me to select my powers. Like it makes it so that when I roll a d6 instead of a d12.
Yes, that's the Twist of Fate. It's an armband. Due to the chaotic nature of Riv's personality and abilities, this item stabilizes Riv's random powers. Reduces a d12 to a d6, allowing you to choose between 2 choices. You roll a 1. You get to choose between what was normally a 1 or 2
No
on
kidding.
your d12.
You're going to have an 8 on that one.
Okay.
Because you'll
8.
have like the certain ritual materials, because Douglas was going to help you with some of that.
Yes,
Douglas.
this is an extended roll.
Yes. It will need to be. Because it's going to be considered a ritual, so you'll just go...
Where's your music? D, where's the music?
What do you mean? Oh, shit.
It's not streaming music.
Okay.
My bad. I'm sitting here jamming out like, meh!
Well, I was noticing that we're talking about this game and suddenly I'm not hearing anything.
4.
So,
It does come across as being sort of problematic, right? Once you realize that.
So we have 4 successes so far.
Okay.
We have 6 successes so far. We have 5 successes. Five successes. Five successes for the Twist of Fate.
Okay, that is exactly the number of successes you needed.
Okay.
got myself a new thingy.
Okay,
I'll
so
put it on my gauntlet now.
there.
Or it's an
So
armband.
now, I think
There you
Ivar
go.
needs the Green Lantern power ring.
Yeah, right. We were going to do, was it Shield Wall for you, Barrick?
Yeah.
Yeah. Your cop ancestors.
Oh shit! That's the shield bracelet from Dresden Files.
I couldn't
Yep.
help it. I couldn't help myself when I was coming up with the concept of that, by the way.
How much is that going for? Because it's awesome looking.
$256.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
actually not bad
But it
considering the
stores
art.
up the kinetic energy as you walk, and then
Right.
I fucking wish.
Okay, so basically Shield Wall, it's a bracelet. A bracelet of interlocking tiny shields that summons Barrick's cop ancestors. He comes from a long line of law enforcement, and by long, his father's back to the beginning of time. Line of spirits form shield wall of police shields from all the ages, negating X damage based off the degrees of success on a will check.
You'll need a 7 target for that one.
Okay.
Oh, the music stopped.
Okay. 0 success.
Doo-doo-doo.
1 success. 3 success. 3 success. 3 success. 4 successes.
You're 1 short.
Okay.
But
We will
you
try
will
to-
only need 4 successes the next time you attempt it in the next game session, basically.
Okay.
Nice.
4 successes needed. Okay, and we're going to do one last one. And that's the which spreadsheet am I at?
Ivar ring like the Greenling.
Yeah, no, we got Ivar's tattoo, so we're just going. I'll worry about the Green Lantern ring next. So Ring of Division acts as an SFR battery to split personalities via stored correspondence. Number of personalities number of personalities are equal to actions possible.
So, depending on the number of actions you have, is the number of personalities you can res into a situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then that basically means that the role playing. So basically, it means that each person only has a set number of actions, and it depends on melee master for the number of actions per turn. And I have 3 actions currently.
Yep.
Okay. What's the difficulty on that one?
7 as well.
Really? Okay.
Now that's what the D100 rolls are about. You guys are just seeing my probabilities there.
Okay, that's 1 success.
Because it all is dependent on how much Dresden, how much Douglas can help you. I'm fucking locked
Started
in
reading
now.
the Dresden files yet?
That's
No,
2
not yet. I've been
2 successes.
ground pounding really hard on some other stuff.
Oh, what are you ground pounding?
3 successes.
Iron Banana right now, but there's that. But I'm also trying to get my articles written because I don't know if you saw that list I clipped into the chat.
Good list.
Yeah, that's a lot. And then I'm going to be incorporating Scott's list into all of those and categorizing them properly. That's a shit ton more. I mean,
Sorry.
the amount of lore. No, it's good. I'm actually sitting there going wow, I didn't realize that this was here and this is connected. And the best part about World Anvil is that they can they allow you to do parent-child articling, so that you have the big ones and then you have the filtering down into the smaller subjects. So it's pretty awesome.
That's pretty awesome.
Successes.
6
Okay.
lopsided thumbs up. All right.
Yeah, so it's basically finite it's like ammo for him.
Right.
But I cannot use correspondence to splint while this is in use.
Right. So you're locked in while you're basically pushing
So
that out.
He can use this to. So he's got 3 rounds. He can use it if he uses it once, splits into 2 personalities. No, wait, how the fuck did I do that?
You have 3 actions per turn as long as you're using melee as the main point. So if they're using magic in any format, it's usually bounced off your melee skill. So if it's using melee, you can basically transition. You can have 3 of your you have 3 selves appear. One
and
from the
each
initial
one has
point.
an action.
Yes.
And if I do 2, then one guy has 2, one guy has 1.
Right. You just split it amongst the personalities as they appear.
Okay.
You can subdivide it any way you like.
Okay. Okay, good.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they'll be working on that 2.75 rocket, the frickin' blunderbuster. And that's going to be ridiculous. I think he's going to enjoy that. And Barrick is the one person for sure who can, like, load that sucker up with slugs and confuse the hell out of the enemy. He'll always think it's like buckshot or spread shot or something. And
I'm just uploading this for posterity.
Buckshot.
it'll be kablow, and the upper part of his chest and head are missing. He was born without it. That's how much prejudice is in that round.
There we go. I updated my my rolls power guide. So
Ooh, fun.
now when I roll a 1, I can choose between super speed and super strength. When I roll a 2, I can choose between true sight and teleport. 3 is fireball and mana sync. 4 is regeneration and wings. 5 is psychokinesis and iron golem, and 6 is intangible and granite skin.
I like that.
I like that those are like opposites, kind of like nothing can get through me, or I can get through everything. Like intangible granite skin.
He's kind of like, what perks is he going
Kitty
to roll
Pride or
with?
Colossus.
Yeah, I actually like how that works out. It makes it so that when I roll, I still have to make a hard choice,
Yeah.
which would probably end up hurting me in the long run because I always just ran with the randomness of it, and it seemed to work out. Now that I have to choose, I'm gonna have to be smart about. Like Riv is gonna have to think about what she's doing.
That's why I wanted to make the items the way that I did, because they're meant to enhance your natural abilities. Like, or buff deficiencies. Like with Ivar, a lot of the stuff that his is centered on that. Okay, so we've done. Okay, Twist of Fate's gone, so I'm gonna take that from my notes.
What you do, Ken, yeah, you just roll your d6 and then you flip a coin. Which one am I gonna do?
Right.
Oh, that'd be funny.
See, what I'm really excited to try out is now I can actually have a possibility of overloading more often in a fight. So that's gonna. I'm hoping that leads to some really cinematic moments, like ultra speed would be fun. With like with a super strength or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Yep, she's gonna
I'll
be
be
a
One
fun
Punch
one to
Man.
work with. All right. So
God, have you seen One Punch Man?
Yes.
Good man.
that is necessary.
That anyone who even doesn't like anime, I will have them watch that show just once.
It's hysterical. I mean, it makes fun of so many different genres at once.
Yeah.
First season was so epically well drawn, though. Like I try to get into the second season, and the story is just as good. Like hands down, story just as good. It's just the animation and the rest of it. Like you couldn't get all those people involved, and it was just such a passion project on the first run. But first season, like, it'll live in infamy forever. Like it's ridiculously good.
I've got so many shows you can watch though. It will scratch that itch.
Yeah. Well, okay. Let's see here. Let's push it over into something else real quick. There we go. So everybody managed to make it out, and they've been. You guys have been resting to some degree. You've brought schematics back from Phobos Station that has several fun toys in it for Barrick, but there are also some other sort of diplomatic extensions that have been brought over as well, namely Firestorm having brought along once he'd made a fair copy of himself and transmitted it over. There are fusion reactor schematics that have been brought over for a select group of people. Obviously, this means that technology advancement and energy production is going to be kind of a bit different in the next 6 to 7 years. But, just basically letting him go parlay, man, because he's not originating from here, and given the fact that he is an artificial intelligence from another dimension, no matter how much you want to try and slice that up, it's not likely that it would be well received right off the bat without some form of olive branch to begin. And that was his. So, more or less, everyone's activities during that time have been issued as classified by government agencies, not to be discussed. And with that, there has been a lull in the massive level of activity. Even for the most part, there has been a much lower level of outsider activity as well in Shadows for some reason. Now, their motivations are obscure to say the least, but right now it seems that any reports of anything significant seem to have dwindled by comparison. Meanwhile, in particular fashion, because Ivar was so interested in the suspension and the rest of it, he got involved and invested in trying to learn how it was that your Eldritch Knight friend managed to cause a full suspension of himself to sustain over a long period of time in extremely hostile conditions, and as such wound up vanishing for some reason, and it's been several days past that point, and even Douglas at this is like, we'll keep an eye out, basically, but we're not going to go wasting our resources trying to figure out what happened. Because Ivar is probably, despite the fact that he's very squishy against bullets, when it comes to magic and that kind of thing, he's as strong as they come. So, waiting for him to return is just kind of the only option, instead of like tearing the veil apart further, trying to find out where he went, or if he went anywhere at all. So, for now, Ivar will be taking the back seat for the moment. But, yeah. So, Colt, just out of curiosity, while you're taking your downtime, where do you spend most of it?
He spends most of it just kind of in the library. He was researching and crafting the items. He failed in making something for Barrick, but Barrick has gone boom, boom, pow, pow with so many different enhancements that he's confident in Barrick's abilities. But he worked hard to stabilize Riv a little bit with creating the Twist of Fate, an item that allowed Riv's random rolls to become more choice-driven. And then he made his own with respect to the Ring of Division, which is he's learning to master himself. And that's what he's focusing on, is attempting to understand the division, the split. He does a little bit more research into the Holy Grail in particular, because that was what Anubis had said could cure the child's condition. And help the personalities be one for the child, kind of thing. So he's going to be researching that, and he's going to still keep his feelers out, listening to Alfred for any reports of the Scarecrow and Sinclair. So he knows he can't do anything active because Alfred is so much better at that, information gathering, and so is Douglas. So he's just waiting for that, because if he hears anything, he's gone. He's going after them. It's his driving mission at this point. But he's just got a lot. He's got a lot of fire. Hey, kiddo. He's got a lot of fires burning.
Yeah.
So he's just kind of centrally focused on himself because he created the Ring of Division, and then he's just keeping the feelers out, and then kind of going, okay, how can we become better?
Well, yeah. So you spend your time in the library. Riv, what about you? Where do you spend most of your downtime? You're muted.
After helping where she can with, getting this armband and getting it, she also realized, like you said last time when we received the, when we got back, the exosuit that she's wearing is a little bit more than she expected. So she's learning about that and the suit's properties.
Mm-hmm.
For that, you told me a bunch of stuff, but I only wrote down exosuit plus 5 bod plus 5 reflex. But you said it has a suite of other things, right?
Yeah, I've got that written down here. I'll pass you some of the info later.
Okay, then. So she's learning how the ins and outs, because you don't wear something and just not use it. Learn how it works, right?
Right. Well, and it does. It's a powered suit for sure. And yes, the strict things that you need to know about are the 5 to reflex and body for sure.
Yeah, I already put that on my character sheet.
Yeah, it's got its own HUD with radio transceiver. It's got an onboard medical computer, so it analyzes your vitals at all times. You can watch for any kind of damage or physical damage to suit or body, stuff like that.
I was opening up the book to look, because I wanted to see if I can use some of my IP to enhance some of my skills, since the downtime is an opportunity to train. Yeah. But I broke word, or I should say, Shadows broke word. It's been chugging this whole time. It is dying. I think it's because of all the changes that Scott's been putting in there, that it's trying to reconcile all of those things.
Probably.
I haven't opened this in a while.
I haven't been putting changes in the Shadows document.
Oh, is that right? So can someone look it up for me then? What the ratio is for upgrading a skill?
I believe it's just 5 times current
skill
level.
Is 5.
Yeah.
5 times whatever the
current level, yeah.
Level.
Yep.
Yeah, so if you're at a 5 and you want to go to a 6, it'll cost you 25 points.
What about a power?
10.
It's 20 times.
20, 30.
What?
Hike.
Yeah, it's 20.
Powers are 20. Yeah, sorry. Advantages are 10. Stats are 10.
I'm still waiting for my word to stop dying. So just a second, let me kill it.
So we know what Riv would have been doing. She's going to be upping skills here. Barrick?
Yeah.
I have a suspicion.
She's working on herself.
Good. I suspect Barrick will probably be in the danger room blasting off with his guns and rampant happiness.
So Barrick is going to... he definitely will be doing that, but he's also going to work with Dravis to kind of give him the "you're where I was 6 months ago." Yes, there are things like vampires and werewolves, and he's going to show him hunter.net and get him a login and all that, because logging activity under Barrick's account, it's not compliant. So he gets him his own login and kind of shows him the other side of the world.
Yeah, well,
and
he's definitely happy to learn it because, if anything else, you're not sure if it's because it's a variety or diversity in targets that he's excited about, but regardless, it seems to be at least something much different than just the common everyday hellscape that he's used to finding himself in.
Right.
And John, you occasionally just walks in with a book in his hand and a cup of coffee, and he goes, "Oh, yeah, those. Yeah, stay out of their way." And then, doesn't even explain why you want to avoid whatever they've been looking at. He just goes, "Yeah, you just want to avoid those things," and then he just kind of walks away. So he's the color commentary of the. I mean, this thing can't be real.
Yeah. No,
John over the head, going, "Yeah, that's real. You don't want to mess with them," and then he just walks away.
Barrick is also going to he's going to go out of his way, probably to bug Douglas, see if they can get something. But he wants to find some movies to share with Dravis. He gets this understanding that Dravis has basically born into a world of pain and, survival, and has lived his 25, 30, 40 years, whatever, in that. And so he's like, this is cheese. This is grapes. This is a movie. Like, this is a comedy. This is called Police Academy. It's great. Like, like he wants to kind of give him that side of life, because he recognizes in himself, like, you can't always be in hardcore mode all the time. Like,
right.
And he's kind of getting that opportunity from being with Dravis, like, to take a step back with himself and remembering levity wasn't gallows humor.
Well, and even better than that is that it's strange probably for Barrick to see somebody who looks at Night City as if it's paradise as opposed to the opposite.
Well, yeah.
By comparison, at least. Well,
yeah,
Riv,
so
that's
sunny
awesome.
Skies, and he's gonna say, like, hey, let's watch this random beach movie. Yes, that's
First
a beach.
up, Tango and Cash. Anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I finally was able to get inside Word, but only because I went through Word online. I literally can't open the Shadows doc right now in my Word on my desktop.
Wow.
Oh, that's the only way I've been accessing it, is through the online. But yeah, so that's what Barrick's been doing, is seeing someone who is perhaps a little further out than himself.
It also
trying
pushes
to tether them.
Yeah, well, the other thing too is that you can use the Danger Room to literally construct a full-sized movie theater, and you can like have it blast on the big screen, full IMAX experience, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
For once the Danger Room used for non-dangerous things. So Riv, while you are sort of in between doing the self-analysis, etc., you actually get a knock. You get a knock on your chamber door. It is not a raven.
I was gonna say.
Nevermore.
Damn it! I want to write poetry like Poe did. Like that. That was such an amazing one.
Hark the Ivar. Nevermore.
Drink more absinthe and date your cousin.
See, I could tell why my Word was dying, because there's like 1,000 new things in here.
The
other reason I want
D. He's been going through and updating.
Yeah.
Tons of stuff.
The other reason I was trying to look in here is that I wanted to look at the advantages, disadvantages, because I was wanting to maybe get some new advantages, disadvantages. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
But anyway,
Barrick picked up the
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I interrupted
range
you.
master.
I'm knocking at my door.
Yep.
Yeah.
Rapping at my door. Got it.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, there's
All the other person here is on the other side. No, joking. That was just for D.
That'd be like, I'm coming back later. Wobbly sausage.
I am a meat popsicle.
I am a meat popsicle.
Yeah.
Anyway, knocking at the door. She's like, yeah?
You see Alex just poke his head and he's like, somebody's here to see you. Front door.
Did they say who they were?
Yeah, but it's not like it matters if I tell you. Just go out and see him. It's important. He just shuts the door after that.
Okay. 7. So, before he even shuts the door, she's like, "Oh, okay." So she activates her runes. So he just sees it light up for a second, and then pretty much after it lights up, there's an after image of her. She activated super speed and just went to the door.
Well, he's just like shuts the door. He's basically at mid-quarter turn by the time you go running out. And of course, you knock his like hair this way, like what's left of it anyway, because he's got that crew cut there. But then like you blow his earpiece out and everything. Like the whole hallway just shakes with your like sudden movement. Of course, you hear it just like that because you're going so fast you can't even really hear the whole scream.
Right.
Hyper-ended Doppler effect.
Right.
Yep. So you get to the door. When you arrive, the force of concussion just kind of falls behind you, so it blows your hair all over the place. And then you open the door up, still with this massive gust of wind. On the other side, on the porch, is Puck. He's standing there with an envelope in his hand, and of course you're like, whoosh, like that when the door comes open. So he's like this, and the envelope flaps to the side, and he's just like, well, that was quick.
She looked curious. The second she recognizes Puck, you just see her expression go from curious, oh, what's going to happen, to oh fuck. That's the expression that she just.
Now you get it.
Well, he's already fucked us over a few times. So.
No, you could just imagine John trying to read a book on dimensional shifts and multiple existences, and sipping a cup of coffee, and he just goes, "Oh, did it get cold in here for some reason?
Walk over your grave.
Why did?"
Yeah. So.
Anyway.
Yeah, he's just standing there. So he let the air finally calms down, and it's like, message for you.
Me specifically?
Yes.
And so again, since she has super speed going, she tears it open at in super speed, and so really it just turns into tatters.
All right. So you pull open the message now. Written within, it is, wow, to Riviera. You are hereby invited to meet at the entrance of the Silk Road, at the behest of Violet Della Rosa, to find yourself at Avalon in the next 30 days. Please be there forthwith, and Puck shall be your escort. Thank you, and have a wonderful day. And then just signs off right there.
So as she's reading, her eyebrows are just going like this. So she looks at Puck for a second, and she says, "Just a second." And so, since super speed is still activated, she's going to go to every room where. Wow, I was wanting to say. I almost tried to say Colt and Barrick at the same time. I almost said Clint. So she goes to Colt wherever he is and finds him, and she knows where Barrick is because he's always in the danger room.
You just hear a when you Barrick.
And all she says, she pops in for long enough so that they can register she's there, and she says, "Meeting now," and disappears upstairs.
Right. Well, so between the sudden revelation that she's bringing to everyone and the thunderous cacophony of noise that's going all throughout the manor as she's running about checking all these rooms and stutter stopping. Yeah, stutter stopping through various sections. So all you hear is boom, 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 like that. And then randomly, meeting now, boom, 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 boom. It's that kind of nonsense.
My god. It's so the way you just described that is the perfect comedy sketch, because I could see, just Bill's talking about Cole sitting there reading his multi-dimensional book, reading some copy, and all you hear is boom, 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 meeting, boom. And he's just puts it down slowly.
And then I can see Douglas in his office just going, "Is this my house? I could swear. I could swear this is my house."
Douglas just shouts, "No running in the house!"
Yeah.
So she
Riv
goes
is
back
so
to
fast, the after image is what says the words, because Riv's already moved on.
So she goes back to Puck. In Puck's perception, how long was I gone?
Close to 30-40 seconds, maybe.
Okay. So she comes back, she's looks him up and down, and is like, "So how does this work? Are you able to come in if I don't invite you?"
I'm not a vampire. I can't stay long. I was just meaning to deliver the message as per agreement from some time ago.
How do we get in contact with you since you're supposed to be our liaison to the Avalonian?
Well, fair question. I hands you over a silver brooch, basically. It's got the shape of what used to be it's a circle with a crescent moon. There's a mirrored piece of either silver or steel that's right behind it, but it's about of the size of a dollar piece.
He looks at it and is like, so I guess she's gonna do a legend or cult roll to see if she knows how to use this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because she knows stuff about magic. I was going to play the stupid what am I supposed to do with this, but I realized she actually might actually know. Let's see here. Where are my skills? They're there. Skill for occult. Occult. I still have trouble finding it on this for some reason. There it is. 11. Okay. All right.
It's not bad. It seems to have a command word. He just sees you recognizing it, and he's just sort of like, just say my name directly at it with intent. It will let me know.
Got it. And then, before she even, lets him say anything more, she slams the door in his face.
From behind the glass, she's like, "You're welcome."
And at this point, the speed would have worn off, so she walks like a Neanderthal, slow like a Neanderthal, to the meeting area. By the way, I figured out what I'd like to do with my power that I trained over the last few weeks. Let's see. So I need 30 points, and I have enough. So, D, I'd like to level up my gauntlet. And I'd also like to get the new...
I fucking love that show. I still watch it. Gargoyles. It was an amazing show. It's still good even now. I was actually kind of impressed. Yeah, and I've you know what? Since my girlfriend's gone, I can actually watch that now without actually feeling self-conscious.
You'd feel self-conscious watching Gargoyles?
Well, because she was just like, you're still watching. It's like, yes, childhood memory. Come on.
Are you kidding? Right.
It's okay.
So, I'd like to get cat-like balance.
Okay.
So I guess in lore or in game, while she was wearing the exosuit, she's practicing tumbling and other things like that to because obviously the higher reflexes and higher body means that she has a higher chance of eating shit.
Yeah. Your favorite phrase: "Eat shit."
Yeah.
It's Monster Hunter classic, man.
Yeah.
All right, so yes, everybody seems to be collected at the dining room table now, which is the meeting area. You have Dravis following Barrick behind, just kind of looking around, seeing if the the crazy blur is still running amok, sending messages throughout the house. Douglas sort of emerges from where he was at in the study and is the last to arrive, since Riv called the meeting at hyperspeed.
We set our popcorn down.
Dravis takes a seat. Everyone else is ready. I'm like, all right. You bring us here. What is the message? What's the meeting? What's going on?
Just 1 second. I'm just putting in my new advantages. Oh wait, I already had cat-like balance. Crap.
No.
Damn. Oh, you know what? I've never added that to my rolls when you ask for acrobats or athletics.
Well, that seems like player fuck up to me, but
it is. It's my own fault. How do you even there's no way to do that on the skills, right? There's no way to notate that they're beefed up for some reason, right?
Well, because it's circumstantial, there's no reason to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I just have a note on mine on the skills page, to the side.
However, you do bring up a fair point. Whenever it comes to advantages, bonuses, and stuff like that, I should, on the sheet, allow for like the quick read of certain things that could be helpful, like cat-like balance or things like that that are circumstantial. Just be like, leave a little area there to make it easier. Because sometimes there can be so much that it's easy to forget. Like feats in 3.5. Because holy Jesus fucking God.
Well, okay. Well, I guess I don't need that advantage. I looked even. I didn't even see it. We'll have to talk offline about what it means to have my gauntlet at level 8 now. But okay. So I called the meeting. She's looking at everyone. And is it the cat time? It's the cat time. I saw the tail.
Yep. There.
Oh, that's adorable.
Like he knows exactly where he needs to be.
Yeah. So the first thing she does is like locks eyes with Colt, and she's like, "I know what you're gonna say. Just close your mouth."
He's not even said anything.
Goes out
yet.
the door.
Best part.
That's she says. Puck was at the door, and then she waits a beat to see if Colt does anything with that.
Douglas is looking around. Alex is like, I don't know. I would have told you, except for I couldn't. And he's just like, what do you mean you
Didn't pop
couldn't
up a
have?
ring or anything.
That's
like-
all. That's all John does. He just goes, "Oh fuck."
Barrick
And then
runs
what-
over to Jarvis and goes, "Oh yeah, fairies are real too."
Yeah, we've gone over it. Apparently one was just at the door, huh?
And
Something
so
like that.
what she does is she slaps down the invitation on the table. It's like, apparently we've been invited to the Avalonian in the next 30 days. That's like, she goes right to the point.
Right. You see, there's like, to the what?
Doesn't none of the other characters know what this is?
I'm gonna do an occult roll real quick.
No, you said
thought we'd already talked about this.
Avalonian, and so he didn't recognize what you meant.
Did I say it wrong?
You said Avalonian instead of Avalon.
Avalon.
Oh, well, so yeah, I just wrote it down wrong. Sorry.
No, it's all
Okay.
good.
23.
Violet Del Rosa invited us via the Silk Road. Well, I think we need to go there.
Yeah, we do. Because we were still going to help her to get access to the Silk Road to be able to utilize it. One of the big things we were going to do was help her with an outsider that's currently on the Silk Road,
Right.
causing issues.
All right. So we'll move this to this. Okay.
Oh, here we go. Oh, here we go, D. I found my skill. Or my advantage. I'm gonna get favored skill.
Ooh, good.
And her
roll.
favorite skill is melee.
What's that do for it again? What was the boost?
You select the
Oh,
skill when
damn.
making any checks with a favorite skill. It will reduce the difficulty of the skill check by 1 per level purchase.
Yep. So in other words, you can now make like melee attacks, or basically what happens is if you have penalties that would normally be applied, they get reduced down. They're just beep.
You just gave me an idea because most of my magic's melee based.
Yeah, mine too. Like, I've been beefing up my melee so much because I've learned about that.
How much that cost you?
It costs 50 points. No, sorry. It's yeah, it's 10 times the point advantage or point cost, so 50 points.
Yeah, it's a 5-point advantage.
Oh, I know.
But you can beef it up multiple times. This is just gonna be level 1 though.
Now, I know what I'm getting next. Because you just created, wait for it, synergy.
Okay. So you've got Douglas just like, wait a minute, did you say Avalon?
Yeah. Why?
Because I do not believe that anyone who's here in this world has been invited to Avalon since King Arthur.
Oh, shit. Like, she doesn't
Yeah.
know. Like,
That's the only Avalon that Barrick would have been thinking of, but he was like, well, no, that would be dumb. Like, clearly they mean like a nightclub or something.
Yeah, he's just like, you've said that you were invited and that Violet de la Rosa was beckoning you to show?
yeah.
It's a little too dark right now.
Wait, like Avalon?
And
Yes.
John's just kind of walking to the bar at this point, pours himself a really stiff drink because Puck was mentioned. And he goes,
That's
yes,
while he's doing that.
Avalon, Avalon, Puck's involved, so of course it's Avalon.
So while
You're
he's
gonna tell me Merlin's gonna pop up or something?
so while
Only his
Colt is
descendants
getting
live.
I mean, be realistic here.
You have Dravis sitting next to Barrack as he's just going like, "Are you good?" And he's just like, "Apparently, I'm not the only one. Charles still trying to figure this shit out."
It's kind of a fun game at this point.
right as Colt takes a sip of his drink, she's like, and Puck's gonna be guiding us there.
And then you just see John just head turn.
Yep, spit take. Yeah.
Oh, like me last night?
Yeah.
So,
And then he turns around and goes, excuse me, would you care to repeat that?
Wait, are we like his plus ones?
I mean, De La Rosa just invited him. I mean, maybe she just wants. I mean, sorry, her. Maybe De La Rosa just wants Rib to go. Yeah, Rib, you just go with Puck. That'll be great. And he can let us know how it went.
I mean, is there some weird fairy magic law we would break if people who weren't on the invitation showed up?
Wait, D, does the invitation just say just me?
it doesn't say just
Or-
you. It says you've been invited, but it leaves it open to have people come along if needed.
Okay. And that's exactly what she'll relate to the group. It's like, these kinds of things are very specific, and you see how the wording here is very non-specific.
If they did not want anyone to follow her along, they would have specified that, and trying to get in without their permission would just either get you killed or blocked. It's not like fairies are very well renowned for not keeping their borders completely secure.
He just puts down the drink, doesn't even finish it, and goes back to his coffee, and he goes, okay, so it's been a nice quiet 2 weeks. Why not?
It was bound to happen
This should
one
be
way
fun.
or another.
Right? Dougie, it's almost...
Just when we thought we were out, they
Back
pulled us
in.
back in.
Dougie, it's like you read my mind.
Well, Travis,
Oh,
you're the newest one of the members here so far, and it seems that we're down a man. So, let's see that she actually decides that she wants to participate in such a thing. Are you willing to go there and challenge your own skills? Right along the way, Draves just has been finished reaching over, grabbing a drink that was brought in by one of the actual dining staff. And he's Red's yeah, yep. I definitely want to give that a shot. What the hell is Avalon anyway? He just takes a drink. And he's like, well, imagine it as being the place one of the origin locations of the Fae themselves, which means it's going to be high levels of magic and pretty dangerous if you're walking off the beaten path. But even then, if you eat their food perhaps, you get stuck there forever. If they find you entertaining enough anyway. And he's just kind of
don't make them any promises. Ever.
well, yeah, that part I'm learning, but the food? He's like, yes, food. Don't eat their food. It's like what happens to a dog, you feed them chicken off the table, they get addicted to it, they keep coming back. They can't leave it.
So it looks like we have the next 30 days to prepare. I don't know what else we can do.
Or within 30 days, so just get it over with.
I agree.
I mean, here's the thing is, the more favors we do for De La Rosa, the faster it gets us to being able to use the webway. If we can use the webway, then we can use it as a back door to attack Avril Thrall. So...
Alfred appears right next to John as he's in mid-speech. She's like...
And he's mid-speech, he goes, "Stop!"
She's like, "My apologies, I don't mean to startle. I just wanted to let you know you have a message."
And he just does this. Which one of us?
You, sir.
Oh. Well, since we share everything in this group, please, what is the message?
I'll be happy to display it. She waves her hand out, and of course, at the center of the table, the holographic imagery of the message appears. It's not written in any particular language that would be considered English, Japanese, or anything else like that. It's non-terrestrial. But it seems to be a 3D amalgamation of a definitive message. But you recognize that the only person who could actually say or speak or do things like that would be Sinclair. He's the only one who's ever demonstrated that particular, techno-mystical quality.
Can I run an occult on that?
Yep.
Okay, 1d19 for Ken.
Excellent.
25.
Okay, so you decipher it. It's not meant to be complex or encrypted, so you actually pull it apart. But what it is express detailing coordinates, first of all. Second of all, seems to be a series of targets, but you don't know for whom. And it's also very odd that he's doing this thing where he's helping you again, because it's very clearly from him. The pinpointed coordinate and location doesn't seem to be anywhere in particular, but then again, Night City has a lot of different things that could be, a part of these coordinates, and significance is almost sentimental. So
John's is sitting here, and his facial expression just goes stark. There's no good humor, nothing. So Riv, that could be handled within 30 days, yes?
That's what she slides over the paper to him.
Yep, 30 days. Uh-huh.
Sinclair says hi.
And it's like,
and he's not looking from the message. He's just staring at it. That's all he said.
So
and
you've got
he's
Douglas
just getting angry. He's getting angrier and angrier by the moment. Says, "This motherfucker is either taunting me or taunting me. He can't do anything else. It's his favorite fucking game."
Douglas is like, "Care to let us in on what the game actually is? What is that?"
And he just kind of twists his hand like that, like to show like a magical. He magically twists it into something they can understand. So his version of prestidigitation.
Right. So he just was like, "That was quite a fascinating script. I've never seen that before in my life. But this definitely makes more sense. These are coordinates. Alfred, where do these lead?" And she's like, "One moment. They apparently lead to one part of the Warren, south side of the New York district. What's the significance of such a thing? Give us a map, please." And she zeroes it in, pulls up the coordinates on this map. Everybody gets the experience of zooming in to this three-dimensional model of Night City across the table, and it pinpoints itself where you can literally turn and twist and widen and or collapse the image as needed. Are you laughing at my hand gestures or what?
No, I was laughing at what Rib said, or Scott said.
I'll have to check this out. What do we got going on over here? Got 1,000 conversations running.
I just said, Riv gets a message from Puck, Colt gets a message from Sinclair, Barrick puts on D&D. Do not...
Yeah. Well,
Ivar, why do you put me on voicemail, Beric? I tried to leave you a message. I call back.
We've been trying to reach you about your car warranty.
those calls, dude. All right. So, yeah, he expands it out. Sure enough, it is part of the Warrens. It looks like a section of Night City, much like many of you have visited thus far. It seems to be in a bit of disrepair, yet it's not nearly as bad as it could be in some cases. It looks like it is not the fringe or a fringe zone of any kind, but it is a lower it's a lower street type of place. Obviously, gang activity would be a problem, and this would be a section where a lot of people would live in coffin buildings and that kind of thing, which, you know, life is difficult under those circumstances. But
John
it is
says,
not totally dilapidated. Go ahead.
and John's looking at it and says, Alfred, do we have any missing disappearances within the area relating to potential Scarecrow or Sinclair sightings?
Cross-referencing, stand by.
Enhance.
Enhance.
Yes, there apparently are some missing persons cases that have arose here. Not as many as what might be considered to be normal for what his activities usually are.
Okay. Whose pattern are we looking at? Sinclair or Scarecrow?
Well, to be perfectly honest, I don't quite have enough data to actually match or follow Sinclair fully confidently. I would say that if this is the Scarecrow, it looks like he is tempering his responses, not being quite so aggressive. However, these people that are listed here according to the message seem to be residences in the area, most likely known to be a part of this section of the city. Most of them seem to be on welfare, not too well-to-do, financially destitute, or homeless. But there's a shelter that's in the same area that these coordinates pinpoint.
Have these individuals been at that shelter?
At least with some certainty, yes. Some of them may have been deceased. These two here, she indicates two of the names, looking at personal profiles based on their sin. Like, she pulls up their name and regulation, all the rest of that stuff. Looks like they were senior citizens, looked like they just had a bad luck, kind of a stretch. According to the dossier, or any of the actual records that are showing, last known residences were some years ago. They fell and never got up, basically. She's like, these two might be deceased.
Age ranges? Any other subsequent age ranges within a certain age group?
She's like, it seems to be of all kinds. The demographic stretches from at least 10 years old all the way up to 60.
He's potentially gathering his family.
Would it be safe to assume that it necessarily would... Well, forgive my impudence here, but perhaps it would not necessarily do Sinclair any good to pinpoint his own targets. Would he react that way?
If he's trying to draw me out, yes.
If he's concerned about keeping you at bay, why would he try to draw you out first? Does he normally like to bait and create conflict?
Which means it's a trap. Or he's trying to help us again. He helps us once, he gives us a taste.
First one's free.
We assume he's hunting, he's gathered the forces. He's keeping us off balance. The only way to solve that is to go in. Because if he grows the size of his family, he will consume the city.
Well then, I suspect that it probably leaves us no choice, does it? She looks over at Douglas. He's like, no, you're correct. That's why I had you built. You can do the talking. And she's like, much appreciated, sir, but that's not my entire function. I'll make sure that get supplies ready. Is there a specific time that you'd wish to depart?
Now.
Alright. I'll make certain that things are getting ready. We'll see you in about 15 minutes over at the actual AV pad.
And at this point, you just kind of see like the coffee cup like shakes a little bit, and the personalities are shifting very rapidly. and it's just like there's points of just like the bastard showing up, and then there's anger, then there's, for half a second his form just enlarges, and you just see the Mr. Bigsby, and then it's just like he's switching between so many personalities at once before he just grips the coffee cup and it shatters, and then there's just John once more in control.
Dravis on the other side of the table is like, oh hey, I know that one. That's a good impression. I saw that in Terminator 2, thanks to him. Because he's thinking about the T-1000 just like morphing.
Yeah.
Of course, Douglas just does this like, all right. Obviously, we're going to be having you move forward. These seem to be civilians of no particular note or reputation. Take it easy over that, John. You're dealing with the normals, for a lack of a better term.
If they're changed, they die.
I will allow you to make those decisions. I'm just saying, for the sake of the normal population, don't completely Hulk out. Okay?
And as he's saying that, because John's just been getting more and more frustrated in the background with us bouncing back and forth, you just kind of see that simple circlet just start to grow thorns for a second, and just like a trickle of blood just kind of goes down his head, and he wipes it away with a cloth, and then the crown goes back to normal.
Anyway.
No, sir, I do not like it.
Well, then you have Firestorm emerging next to the actual map. And again, he just looks like a male, sort of just an outline, more or less, with like, outlined features in the face. So you can see him talking, but he doesn't really carry any other personality in his form than that. And he's like, whoa. So you're getting angry. We've got this showing up, and Alfred's been so kind to get me updated. You guys are getting ready to go out again, aren't you?
Seems like it.
Well,
no rest for the wicked.
He does this. He's like, I'm ready to jump in now. I've been coasting through the Rust Belt, and a lot of the actual net that's around here. Pretty interesting stuff. As a matter of fact, I'd say that your cyberspace is nearly infinite. Even if there's anything else like that, some of the VRs, guys, I'm telling you, you should get that Matrix thing in the back of your head as soon as possible. That is the way to have a vacation.
I'm sure I'll get there soon enough.
He's like, oh, you could do it right now. And they don't even have to get the jack in the back of their head. They just put on, what do you call them? And it's like, trodes, I think. This place is starting to wear me out. I'm getting a bit of a slang to it. Well, not to cut Alfred off, and she goes like, no, quite thank you. I'm actually not a fan of violence. I would prefer to stay here. House management's more my primary function anyway. He's like, cute. All right, coming along then.
And then, John just kind of has a little bit of his humor coming back, he's just kind of muttering to himself as he's drinking his cup of coffee, simmering in rage, going, Firestorm and Alfred sitting in a tree, two AIs kissing.
And he's like, haha, heard that. Alright, well, see you guys on the flip. And you just see him de-res right there inside of that hologram.
Ha 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 ha.
Is he max headroom?
No, but
all right.
he's a true AI, where like Alfred's more of a VI, because like artificial intelligences are actually living beings that are machine built, and they have a full range of emotion and capacity to think critically and discerning minds and all that. VIs have something close to that, but they don't quite hit the mark. They have a pseudo sense of emotions, but it's more of a limited palette, that kind of thing.
So, D, just so you know, I still can't open the other Shadows doc, so I created a new one. I just copied it.
Oh man, we really squashed that one, didn't we?
Yeah. So I'm there's now Shadows edit 06/10/21.
Fabulous.
Great.
I'll share it out to you
Another one
guys.
was from September.
Well, that was the name of the edit. Like, might as well give it a milestone.
Every 9 months we get a new edit.
This one is by necessity because it's like the whole thing is so borked right now.
Well, not only that, but I mean, hundreds of comments, a lot of which have
I think that's what's
irrelevant.
crashing my thing. Is it's trying to render every single comment and every single change because we had track changes on, and there's thousands of changes. So, I mean, that's only I saw that Scott went in there and did Control F for night and changed it to NYTE. So,
yeah, that's good. Love that feature. All right, enough geeking out. So what's everybody packing?
See if we can get some silver cards.
Barrick is going to go over there and grab his BFG and slay out on a bunch of orphans.
Right.
So John just kind of says, okay, and you get one, and you get one, and Travis, this is a silver card. You crack it, emergency team comes, carries you away. Don't die. And then he hands him the card.
No shit. Wow.
If we have any more silver cards in the house.
Yes, you do. That's what that roll was. That was...
Yeah,
everybody's replenished.
wow, okay.
Yeah.
Put it in my gear.
All right. I'm going to go fetch myself another cup of hot coffee. 1 sec, but you'll still be able to hear you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's just going like, and you, and you, and you, and you, and this is what it does. Don't break it now, otherwise you get mad at EMTs. Okay. And then he just kind of says, so, how do I put this? Dravis, Sinclair was once a part of, and he just kind of gestures at his head, us. He's the true demon. He is gathering his family, and he is converting them to demonic entities. They're no longer human, so don't worry about that. He's probably setting a trap for us, or he's helping us. We'll never know, because if he delights in anything else, it is making my life and the rest of the cult's life very, very difficult.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Last time he did this was in Nazi Germany.
Read up a little bit about that.
Yeah. Yeah. We didn't have control back then.
Nope. That conflict was over 100 years ago. I can't imagine you probably would have.
You learned some things.
Well then, I've pretty much got most everything that I'm going to need. I'll be meeting everybody out at the AV pad.
Yeah, Rev's gonna suit up in her exosuit and make sure that she already has all of her ammo and med kits and stuff. So, and she puts the silver card in her pocket dimension.
Yeah. Looks like Barrick's gearing up.
Yeah.
And he's silently gearing up.
I love the.
Man, those little figurines, especially with how he's like making them all like just like that. I don't know how to describe that. There's a name for it, I'm sure, but he's fancy.
He's got a knack for it. Like, I've still got to make my figurine, but like it's just so intimidating to jump in there.
Yeah. It's awesome though. The fact that you can actually make those of your characters, that's the part that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So everybody's getting suited up, ready to go. Firestorm is piggybacking off of comms, so he'll be in your guys' ear.
Nice. So it sounds like Colt is taking the lead on this one because he's the one that got the coordinates.
Yep. Well, he showed the coordinates to everybody, but yeah. So Alex,
right, but it's his bullshit.
He's just being angry and not caring.
Yep.
I mean, Colt's going no matter what. I mean, he knows it's either going to be a trap, they're going to get helped, or whatever. It doesn't matter. And in his head, you've got the general. The general's kind of going like, all right, any plan of action that we're going into is just going to be a royal fuck storm.
Sounds like the general.
I mean, a real big hoonanny.
All right. So everyone meets at the AV pad. Alex, of course, standing by, waiting to get everybody going. Being the south side of the district means it's going to be what can be expected. It's about a 35-40 minute flight, so not that long.
So while we're flying, she turns to Riv turns to Colt and is like, "So this is going to be a quick thing, right? In and out."
At what point have we ever done quick? It's going to be.
She slinks back and is like, "I thought so."
I mean, it's going to be one of two things. It's either going to be like the last 2 weeks where we just get some things done. Right? You know, little housekeeping, right? Little sweepy things, sweepy, get things relaxed. Or everything in existence is going to try to kill us.
Oh, hey there. Not to cut in. Firestorm here. So, I was watching some of the general local traffic inside the net. It seems like most of the police down there don't really pay much attention to what's happening, so you're not going to have to worry about much of a response. I'd guess 4.5 minutes if anything really serious happens. Most of the patrol vehicles are at a distance out or too busy doing some other form of work. Stop it. Stop. My God.
Thank you, Firestorm. Have you reviewed Alfred's files about Sinclair and Scarecrow?
Oh, they've been fully reviewed. Pretty sickening stuff. It looks as though I can actually create some sort of a minor psychological profile based on what we already know. He seems to be very much self-motivated, if nothing else, and anything that he's going to do that is going to help, you can hear the air quotes, that's going to help you, is actually going to be more self-driven than anything else. More than likely, I doubt that he's actually going to try and entrap you at this point. I actually have this sensation that he cares for you in his own twisted way, but the main thing is that he wants to develop whatever he's going to call his family. Based on all the information that I have, our best likely strategic move that he's going to be trying to pull here is to keep your eyes focused on something that's actually going to benefit you at least to some degree while he goes and takes care of what he's going to take care of. In other words, he's going to continue making his family unabated while you're busy. That's my guess, anyway.
Wow.
What?
Scott messaged me with something.
Oh.
Yeah. I couldn't keep that reaction in, so. Okay, so, we can all basically understand that my judgment's a little clouded, right? Okay, so Firestorm, if you could do me a favor and watch for the man behind the curtain while we focus on whatever asinine, egotistical, narcissistic, wet dream he's come up with. That'd be great.
Yeah,
I know.
That'd be great.
I'm already watching the feeds. Don't worry, John. Listen, I'm actually going to be doing some bit of monitoring. It looks like you haven't had a lot of good oversight as far as that's concerned. I've looked at your actual mission track record. It seems you guys get some aerial support from time to time, but you don't really have anybody in here really making things easy for you. It's going to be a pleasure.
This is going to be exciting.
And then John's just sitting
the
back
last
going,
time we had aerial support, I ended up dead.
Well, not dead, nearly dead, but surprisingly still alive given the wounds. You were
got better.
Mostly dead. Not quite dead.
Yeah, that. So
Cling cling. Good now though.
Yeah. Of course, everybody turns off the electrochrome so you can, or turns the electrochrome back on rather, so that everybody can see like Night City flying by. out and underneath, you've got like the tall lit spires and all the rest of that stuff. It is becoming close. It is coming close tonight, so it's not quite the evening by the time you guys will be arriving. But the sun will have dipped down that western horizon, casting that shadow across, making everything look almost orange and black, with the various neon lighting and all the other holographic imagery that's going on, usually at stories anywhere from like 50 floors and up. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate it.
Excellent.
Yep. So you come landing down street level whenever the door rolls open. The plethora of smells that kind of hits everyone is highly reminiscent of street fare, something not quite altogether good, a little like something rotten in the background, but it could be something like the steam coming from out of the various vents that are on the sidewalk. And looking about, there's a lot of people moving on these streets. This is more to what a lot of what Night City is used to being, and the sheer number of people, despite having been here, everyone's had a chance to live at the manor, so it's a little disconcerting whenever it's so crowded. But you've got all kinds of activity happening all at once. For now, things seem to be inherently civil, but it's just it's only a threadbare civility.
So as John walks out of the AV, like his coat becomes longer, the hair becomes slicked back, he becomes a little bit thinner or more aristocratic in his appearance. The axe thoughts becomes that gentle walking cane, and you can just see like the cane just dangling in the fist as he goes. You just hear the gentleman go, "Ah, such beautiful sin.
Of course,
Don't you just love taking it in?"
Draves comes walking up next to him, like he's still got that semi-shoulder length kind of hair going on, just looks at him like, "You're kind of a weird fucker, aren't you?"
Oh, that would be John, my dear. I am a civilized man. I am a connoisseur of all things wicked.
I guess that kind of does describe civilization, doesn't it?
To the T. No, you are. You are an absolute. No, we're not bringing him out yet.
I know, but
it's just like you are an absolute naïve delight. So scrumptious. The sin on you is so violent.
Yeah.
And he just kind of shivers.
Wow.
Creepily.
Dravis is actually looking around. He seems to be a little paranoid. And
he would be.
Yeah, well, right now he's around more people than he's ever had to live with. It's one of those things where it's like he spent most of his time in squads, things like that, but not mass populations of this density ever.
So we're gonna use 3 Arete on not 3 Arete, 3 SFR for the gentleman's Sen. He's gonna be, because he knows Sinclair's scent, so he's gonna be trying to filter out Sinclair.
All right.
Or his family by proxy. And he also wraps his arm around Draven and says, "My good man, there is absolutely nothing to fear. I have a nose for these things."
Yeah, not less creepy, just saying. Anyway, so if you want to roll to start picking up a scent of something familiar, whether or not you were excommunicating the aroma or the sin trail of Sinclair.
Yeah. So what's the target?
It's going to be 8. There's a lot around.
Okay, so it gets 2 degrees of success.
All right. You catch something that is familiar, and it's not Sinclair. It would so happen to be tinges of scarecrow spotted all throughout the block.
Oh. Sinclair has put us on the trail. And he just kind of standing there with the cane going, Oh, it seems Sinclair has been a good little boy and given us a scarecrow. Oh, shiver. The sheer butchery and debauchery of this one. Oh, the scale of the violence is decadent.
Of course, Firestorm peeks in and is like, okay, wait, are you going to masturbate to this, or do you want to kill him? Which is it?
Well, depends on your perspective.
Air crow. Yeah.
Like, damn it, what did I forget to write down? I got air crows now.
Goddamn air crows.
As opposed to those land and sea crows.
And then he just kind of waves the cane in the general direction. Ah, this way, this way, this way. And he just does that.
Scarecrow. That was the
That would be the bone dragon.
thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
The bone dragon. Ah.
I mean, we did good work that night.
Oh, yes. You, John. Ah, that strange fellow, Ivar. Where is he?
He's
Well,
busy on something else.
I mean, he doesn't smell like sin. He just smells. Ugh, rank. And then he's just kind of doing that kind of noble gentry walk, like there's just moving the crowds just because of his air of superiority.
Walking too slow to
oh no, not
us
that
to walk at a normal pace, but just fast enough that we can't pass him without exerting ourselves.
Yes.
That horrendous. My kids do shit like that.
You can't follow the NPC without run stuff. Run stuff.
True hell.
So, through the streets, you've got people who've got, like, the glow tattoos and the spiked hair. You know, the very punk-like sort of effect is all in everywhere. Much of everyone here has this look of being tough or hardened or hard-edged. A lot of them actually seem to be pretty well cut, all things considering, both in physique and their hair. The biggest thing is that Riv is obviously trying to stave off leering glances from here or there with a few catcalls in between, just kind of like, hey baby, like that kind of stuff.
And John and the gentleman goes, "Don't worry, gentlemen, she'll bite it off."
Of course, you got some guy in the background's like, he might like that, like just.
No, what you just reminded me of was joke's on you. I'm into that shit.
Yeah. But, of course, Dravis doesn't really seem to do anything other than blend the fuck in. His motif being sort of militant, hard-edged, the rest of it, he seems to slide right into this crowd and disappear despite being a lot taller. You guys follow where you're at. Alex has stayed with the AV for the time being. He's got it parked and he'll be managing it so that way it doesn't get stripped. While you guys are moving along that the sidewalk, you got ground vehicles going past. There's music blasting in certain areas. You can hear the shout from time to time of people like yelling at one another somewhat incoherently. There's even like this like bitter aroma of like beer in the air occasionally, and then like plumes of smoke from people smoking cigarettes, cigars, or whatever it is that they seem to be having on. There's even vape everywhere. So I mean, you're just
cotton candy and bacon and.
Yeah, it's all mixing together into some
Candy
sort of
bacon.
like. I mean, if the color brown had an aroma, you're basically in it.
Ivar.
No, that's more like brown green.
All right, nasal filters activated.
Oh, I just found a new synergistic thing I could do.
And this system is rocking for that.
Yay,
You guys are all looking to the same direction. It's unnerving.
And then we all go, hmm?
So you follow the street for a short period of time before you come outside of what looks to be the shelter that was identified from earlier. Now it's located in the basement of a larger building that's a pretty serious part of this whole block. So you go down the steps towards the bottom. The door's not open, but it's fully metal. Seems like it's mag-locked closed. You've got the general commotion of the street up above you. and there's like a slide window where somebody can look through it. Looks like there's a digital keypad as well to the side of the door.
And
I'm
then
gonna punch the keypad. No, just joking.
so the gentleman's going, I believe we may be where we need. If per se we may had somebody of a robotic nature that could potentially open the door for us.
I
Oh,
wonder who that could be.
Firestorm chimes in. It's like, you could also knock.
Yeah.
well,
Where's the fun
I
of
want to
that?
start this off with the B&E.
fine.
But Derek will happily knock. Kung, 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 with the metal hand.
Yep. So
A gauntlet hand too, so she does it too at the same time.
My
So
God.
Knock,
How
kung,
is-
kung, kung.
please open the door. Like, damn.
I am a meat popsicle. So how heavy is the sin burden at this point?
You mean like
Has
how
it been-
concentrated is the
Yeah, how
scarecrows?
concentrated has it been? Yeah.
Are you looking for Scarecrow in particular, or just overall the sin in the area?
No, Scarecrow, because he's locked on.
Yeah, well, it's definitely a lot heavier down here.
Okay. This is. Oh, well. My good woman, good man. You're very thorough, thank you.
A few moments later pass. I've got my roommates coughing and hacking in the background. All right, so a few moments pass, and the whole thing the little slide window goes shink, like opens up. You see somebody peering out, guy, dark skinned, looks at everybody's like, "What?"
Ah, my good man. Are you the proprietor of this establishment?
Proprietor? I
What's that
work
word?
here, though.
He wakes and says, "Do you live here?" He's like waving the cane.
I work here, dude.
Oh,
You want?
fantastic. My
you
friends
want?
and I would most definitely like entry.
And why should I do that? Most of you look like you're pretty well paid off. Don't look like you're hunting for a home or anything.
Well, I have a nose for these things, and there is a curiosity in this establishment that I seek to find.
He's looking at us like, sorry, man. Not everybody gets in just because they're curious.
Well,
Derek would like to try authority
Sure.
to just
Yeah.
not quite little pig, let me in, but he's gonna, flash badge quickly. Like that movie, Once Upon a Time in Mexico, that I finally remembered the scene from.
Yeah. Not bad, not bad.
Hold it too. But he's gonna say, "We need to get in. You can open the door, or we can take the door."
And he's like, huh. Then he goes, shuts for a minute. You hear the door, like, maglock come loose. And then this taller gentleman comes standing up in the doorway. And he's just kind of looking around. You can see that he's got a cybernetic arm. Black, nice cropped hair. Just kind of staring at everybody's like, this is a shelter, man. Shelter. It's not like we're harboring drugs, and we're not going to be accepting any kind of raids or something. So,
but you have something much more dangerous than the people you are trying to safeguard. Potentially preying on them.
are you high?
Not quite.
He will be.
Look, I don't take well to
If
being
you've
pushed
got
around.
nothing to hide, you'll have no problem if we.
Oh my god. God, I hate that so much.
I hate it too.
And he's just looking at us like, look, if you're some kind of cop or something, come back with a damn warrant. This is a shelter. That's it. I got sleeping people back here who don't get to eat too well. So if you don't mind, either make your point or piss off.
So he Let's see.
We can do this the easy way, or the really easy way.
God, Varric.
As the gentleman goes, no, my good man. There are so much easier ways to handle this. And then you just see the gentleman going, no, you vile bitch! I will not! And then all of a sudden, it's
being domestically abused. He needs access.
Instead of the cane is a parasol, and the long coat becomes a flowing dress, and then there is the Dane. And he goes, you see, he can smell the sin. I know what people want, my dear, and this poor man has a want.
Of course, this transition, everybody else not reacting. And he just seemed like do that whole like neck craning backwards, just like, what the fuck?
And then we're gonna spend 2 SFR on finding out what this guy really, really, truly wants.
Tell me what you want, what you really, really want.
No,
probably not that.
I almost put D19 because of that. Thank you. Exploding 10, fail 1, target what?
It's going to be a target 6.
Okay. So,
I mean, if you that's actually 1 success.
Yeah. So you know what? I'll use 1 luck to bump it up to 2 successes. So the dame is just looking at him quite kindly, because she knows that he's very startled. But she wants to find what he really, really wants. Damn it, Ken. What he really, really wants.
I mean, it works.
To basically get beyond the door. Damn it, Ken. I can't get that out of my head now.
Okay. Well, so he is actually, strangely enough, a pretty simple person. What he wants is the ability to start creating all kinds of new systems where the disenfranchised and the people that need help have a much better avenue to do it. Like, he wants to create a series of shelters in the nearby area that are both protected, easily accessed, and help people get back up on their feet, not just sustain their state of quality of living. Like, he's got actually, like, ambitious goals towards, community improvement.
Ken, I saw that. Oh my god, you're so evil. Damn it, I hate you. So, the dame just goes, oh my dear, you are truly one of the good souls. We must do something. John would want us to do something. He would disagree with me, but I think he would. What is it? I believe, Firestorm? Firestorm, are you there, my dear?
You've got, like, you're basically just prattling on, and he's just like, the guy's been stepping back slowly into the doorway, not making any sudden movements, just walking back to where he's out of range where the door can shut again.
So while this was happening, another thing, just to contrast what Bill has been doing or Colt has been doing, which I'm not sure how this person will react, but Riv, one of her runes lights up, and from her back, the angel wings unfurl.
Nice.
So
we are here to help you, my dear. Firestorm, I think this man could use your aid in his dreams. He seems to want to build countless shelters for the disenfranchised. Do you think we could facilitate that for the man?
You hear Firestorm cracking over. It's like, well, wasn't exactly what I was thinking, but I mean, sure, money and funds can definitely be shifted, moved, and reorganized in all sorts of ways, but I mean, I gotta admit, there's a lot going on here. It wouldn't be as easy if it were anywhere else, but I can look into it. We got Dravis walking up to, because she emerges with wings, At this point, he's just kind of like staring over at her. You're babbling to yourself. Barrick's just kind of trying to do the authority stare. You know.
Like 3 different tactics all at once.
Yeah. And Dreyfus is like, all right, Jesus. Like, he just goes, like, walking up to where the guy's like, okay, don't slam the door in our face. I know this is fucking weird. They're weird, okay? And he's just sort of like, yeah, that's putting it mildly. Just like, listen, we've got something of a threat that we followed here, which means there's something that is putting everything that you have here at risk, all right? And it's weird shit like this, but not this. I know that doesn't make any damn sense, but we're not here because we're not here to cause any trouble. Trust me, if they wanted to get in, they would just have forced the door open all by themselves. They knocked first, all right? I was like, Dravis, by the way. He like holds out his hand, and the guy's like, you can just call me Dolly. Like that, he just shakes his hand with the cybernetic arm. He's like, listen, he's not actually a cop anymore. He used to be, which is where he gets the edge. His situation is fucked up and complicated. She's something else entirely. I don't even want to get into details, but point is, we're not here to make life miserable. We just think that there's something in there that could cause some serious trouble for you. Could we have a look? He's like, yeah, sure. What the hell are your names then? Like looking at everyone else.
John shifts back into the cult shifts back into John. Says, he goes, well, I'm John. The others were the dame and the gentleman. They were talking to. Who are they talking to? He's like trying to remember their conversations. Going, he says, yeah, whatever. They promised you that we'd take care of your dream, which is to make sure that you can build countless shelters for the disenfranchised. Great, fine, fantastic. We'll make that happen. There is something inside here that is beyond horrifying. It will prey upon your people. It will devour, change them, and turn them into something monstrous.
I get it. Man.
Okay.
I get it.
Great. Okay. Wonderful.
Do me a favor. Go around, check the place out, I guess. I will follow you through it, and then get the hell away if there's nothing here. All right? Like he's just sitting there, like Dravis, like, sounds like a plan. Shall we?
You know, Dravis, I think I like you. And then
John Agent Leon Barrett retired.
He's like, yeah, Dolly, whatever. Like, just hits that thing. You guys come walking in, the door shuts.
So, just for role playing sake, I want to see if I can do this. No, I want to see if I can do this. So you know how the way that I shoot magic bolts is through my gauntlet, right?
Yeah.
Is there a way that I can manipulate that fire just to the fingertips and then make it so there's an after image? I want to do a halo. I want to make a halo over Riv's head. She's got struck by this inspiration. What can I roll to see if I can make that happen?
Mr. Mercy.
Well, in this case, you can kind of do that. You're pushing like the gauntlet's capacity because you're not going to be using your bolts. You're just going to be creating a sort of an illuminated effect that's kind of with your wings and the rest of it. So if you just basically interact with your if you interact with your gauntlet like you've been trying to do, because if you remember it's sentient, it might be able to create that aesthetic just by doing so. So
she nudges it. Yeah, she nudges it and it's like, hey,
hey, listen! Sorry.
All right. How are you?
No, I was thinking of Cartman.
Yeah. Jennifer Lopez.
Oh, God.
Jennifer Lopez. Okay, we'll check. Sorry.
God damn it, so awful.
If I remember right, a will check is that I roll a 1d 100 and have to be under my will. No, it's 70. 1d.
That's your sanity check. You need a will check, which is multiple d10s.
Yeah, it's 1d10 per will. Right?
Yeah.
No, we never do these will check things.
No.
Well, I don't do them very often. Oh wait, they should have been.
My wife just sent me a text saying, "Don't do that voice while you're streaming. The internet is forever."
This is what I meant to do. Oh well, okay, fine. Roll 7d10. There, that's what I was looking for.
Okay, that's more than successful. Not to mention the fact you can roll another d10 since you got an exploder in there. Okay. Yeah, it does. It constructs that. That's like 3 successes right there.
So while she's hovering, she reaches up and just like, ah! And because it's piercing light, you hear a little like thing, and she just looks over to him and is like, "You can call me Angel."
And then John goes, "Yeah, Dolly. At this point, I'm just sorry for our presence." And then he just kind of walks by, and then as he's walking by, he flips his hand up like this, and just kind of casts his hand like that, because he's throwing tracer magic out. And I'm going to use 4 Arete to do life and correspondence.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like a tracking spell. So the correspondence is to spatially be able to pulse out and isolate, identify objects. The life in the correspondence use is to find the corrupted matter that is the Scarecrow and of his creations. So it has a specific, I don't want to say genetic signature, but a manipulated life signature.
Nice.
So what would my difficulty be?
Make it a 7.
Make it a 7. Okay, Scott.
Riv Sentient Gauntlet.
We're gonna change. We're gonna use 2 luck, 1 to get rid of that 1, and then one to raise that 6 to 7s for 2 degrees of success.
Okay.
How does that play out?
Well, you are picking up traces of the Scarecrow's influence and sort of following it around. Now, of course, you're moving through this place in a purposeful way. You know, you're not like, hey, is this where this is located? Is this where this is? You know, you're just like a scent hound following.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Dolly's like right there behind you, kind of like scratching his head. Dravis is staying sort of close-ish by, and then you've got Barrick and Riv, where they're just, you know, doing that fanned out kind of thing because everybody's expecting some sort of shit show to happen.
Yeah, and he's just kind of occasionally he's kind of moving his hand, and as he's moving his hands, like green tracers, like, you know, life energy, just kind of flows through, and he's just kind of doing this like he's in a trance, moving through. He goes, "He's been here or is here."
You got Dolly in the background, just kind of going like, whatever, dude. Yeah, there is a risk. So anything vulgar like what's been happening all around him is definitely creating a higher chance of possible paradox, yes. So moving on forward, you got Dravis, like I said, just kind of keeping to rear, kind of staring, you know, like sort of like an anchoring weight where he's kind of just keeping to it. This place is large. This building has the entire basement outfitted for the shelter and its purposes. The main entryway, which was kind of like its own contained room, is just kind of a starting point where a lot of places converge. There are points where there is an elevator that sits, you know, far towards the other wall, where it goes up to the other parts of the building, but it's not really in use right at the moment. Outside of that, you've got like coat racks and you know, couches and stuff. There's even somebody sitting on one, and they're just kind of like zoned out, not really paying much attention to any of it. There's lots of fluorescent lighting, which is, you know, upward and embedded into the ceiling itself. It's all made from concrete, So, all the larger support structures here are in the load-bearing points where you've got beams coming across, and you have the lights in between. It's sort of a dismal-looking place. And then you have doorways that go to different sections. Now, there is a full gymnasium that kind of fits underneath here, and that's got like people inside of it. They're messing around and doing hoops and just trying to keep themselves distracted. Most of them are the younger persuasion in that sense. When you guys come walking through with all these strange bits, Riv, are you gonna like kill the wings in Halo at some point, or are you gonna go floating in here with this giant crowd of people?
Well, when she walks in there, she activates a rune again.
Boy, she's just burning through her magic right now. Just ah.
With no Ivar to recharge.
Yeah, right.
She's feeling good right now.
So this I'm thinking like a YMCA sort of.
It's kind of like that, yeah. It's a
like
wider broad point.
Yeah.
They'll have offices. They'll have there is no pool, but like I said, the full gymnasium. There's a fitness center aspect to it. Lots of like public showering areas and things like that designated as men and women. Like it's a full outfit. Like as far as the shelter goes, it's in good shape.
Yeah.
But he seems to be well recognized and might even run the place, not just work here.
You're right though, D. She'll dismiss the wings. Because inside it's not really useful to fly.
I love how that's why her reason is.
But she does activate True Sight.
Oh my.
And while Riv is powering down and powering up again, what does the life tracker or the Scarecrow life tracker show, John?
Well, it's just pushing through. Like I said, you're just using it to follow the essence and remnants of where his existence had been. Kind of like seeing some kind of a hole in smoke. You're just passing through and following the same trail. You go through the gymnasium. You come into a more like common area that comes from that point. It does have several convergence points where you can step out in this common areas there where the kitchen is. You can see that there are people that are sitting, they are eating, there are vending machines down here. There seems to be some like used data terms that have been retrofitted for just general public use. It looks like a lot of the main fees that are applied to them have been removed, or they've been tweaked in such a fashion that you can get like screen sheets and basic stuff for cheap, if not for free. So there is a lot of activity and people in here. Where it goes to lead you off, though, are the back end bunk quarters, which go sort of directly adjacent to the actual entry point from where you came in.
Is it becoming a stronger signal?
Yep, you're following it through for that reason.
And then he's just going, it says, Darling, if need be, can you get these people out of here?
He's like, what? No. I mean, yeah, if there was a fire or something, we could evacuate or whatever, but they got nowhere else to be. That's why they're here.
Arrangements will be made. Firestorm.
And it's like, yeah.
You're gonna like unleash a firestorm.
Coming into closer proximity to the Scarecrow. These people won't have a home if we need them to evacuate.
I just feel like, yeah, I understand it, but he gets a little fractured for a second. It's like, oh, sorry, having to patch through the building's inner network, not necessarily easy. Oh, he starts looking around. Barrick, thanks for letting me use your eyeball, man. I'm just looking around. I was like, well, this place is dismal, isn't it? And it's like, yep, most of these individuals here, based on facial recognition, look like they're either homeless. Some of them seem to have been released from various mental care. And it looks like a majority of these, like, you can see your Times Square marquee, like, going through and doing pseudo-analysis from what looks to be, it's not yours, but it's like he's sharing the screen in your Times Square marquee so you can see him going through it.
Yeah. Oh, this isn't unnerving at all.
Mine's just sort of like, Hey, I'm borrowing you. I figured you could borrow me. Look,
Yeah.
so all these kids here have had all kinds of strange things happen. Most of them have been throughout the foster care system. Seems that there's obviously all forms of abuse, right down to the nitty gritty. And he's like, skip. Oh, here it is. Look, most of them don't have a place to be, mainly because of the fact that they are unaccounted for, and it seems, what is it called, sinless, I guess. They don't have a security identification number yet. And that's only because of the fact that they seem to be, here. And some of them don't even look to have any particular records at all. A lot of them
Riv
seem to
and I
have...
hearing this too?
Yep. It's like some of the people here seem to have some light gang affiliations, but nothing strong. It seems like our good friend Dolly here has been keeping that part under wraps, making sure that nobody gets too out of hand. Seems like he turns away a lot of those that are still part of gangs.
And pretty much everyone here's got pretty high ACE scores, is what you're saying.
And as John's kind of doing his heroin tai chi, with the magic, because he's still kind of engrossed in it. He's just like, I've been in their position.
Yeah, this is a vulnerable population.
If they must be extracted, they need to be protected, Firestorm.
Oh, don't worry, I'm pretty much aware of that. We can see about actually moving around. There seems to be another shelter approximately 10.5 miles from this present location. It might not necessarily be able to hold the entire full capacity of one this large, but it is at least something.
And then you just kind of see him pull like his data slate, because he's got like 153 years of life, and he kind of pulls up he says, Firestorm, do you see this signal? And he kind of pops it. He says, that's my account. I invested. And then he just kind of puts it back.
And he's just like,
I am just throwing the money down.
Douglas owes me
Bitcoin.
And he's like, oh, right then.
Primary investor. Oh.
Oh God.
All right, so you guys go walking through. Right. So you get to the sleeping quarters, which is, like I said, directly adjacent from where you guys had come in terms of the schematics, but it's wider in there, and it's a bunking points, which means that lots of people bunk one over the top, and then row after row after row after row after row to make sure that people are able to like sleep on beds and stuff like that. There also seems to be inherent laundry. Like laundry processes that are in action right now and stuff like that. So it's a fully working, almost like pseudo community here. The scent and the rest of it becomes pretty implacable. You can't seem to avoid it. It's right here, and it centralizes more towards the darker side of the room where some of the lights aren't working too well. And you can see where one's kind of like buzzing out, and then there's like this kind of collection of that same force that seems to be there. Some of the people in here are actually dead asleep, a lot of which are the more younger children between the ages of 3 and 5. But there are also some like senior citizens and people that look like they've had hit hard times that are, like dead out. But it's not, I would say you're looking at about maybe 15-20% the total capacity of what the shelter's harboring right now that are actually here and sleeping.
So John just he's not really looking at everybody. He says, this is why he sent us. He wants us to protect us. And he doesn't really explain that. Protecting us. What we were. And he says, Dolly.
What?
When people need to run, get them out of here. Barrick, Riv, Dravis. Get ready.
He looks over at Dolly. He's just sort of like, I don't know what's going to happen, but you might want to start moving these people like now, quietly. At any rate, he goes step out.
Barrick will offer assistance escorting people out.
Yep, and Dravis will start doing the same thing.
And then John's just kind of limbering up.
A good segue for the break off.
Mm-hmm. Well, not just yet, because we'll break it off here in just a moment, because you guys are moving them out maybe 20 minutes or so. You guys are finally moving everyone out of here, and there is this sudden, like, crack. You don't hear anything, but there's a crack in the concrete, in the very foundation that did not exist previously. Not a sound, just it suddenly being there. You turn away, turn back, the crack has become wider. The more you do this, the wider that becomes, until finally it's literally this hallway-sized entry point. And you've got Dolly who comes out, like, just, he's coming in to help with the rest of it. Dravis returns. You've got Barrett coming back in because you guys have got everybody out begrudgingly. Wasn't easy, but you guys come back. And Dolly's like,
yes,
I know.
Leak.
He's like,
out.
I know for a fact that shit wasn't there. Like, Dravis is like, okay, look, don't freak out. Like, it's like, but he ends up holding his arm like this, and his armor materializes completely around. It's like, he's like, God damn! Like, just staring at him. When he turns over to him, it's like, Dolly, if you've got people you need to protect, now's the time to do it. Out of here. And he's just like, don't gotta tell me twice.
25 occult.
All right, so it's hard to say, but this looks like something that the Scarecrow would definitely pull off, given its dramatic kind of essence to it. What you don't expect is for this younger, probably 10, 11-year-old boy, slightly blonde hair, looks fairly innocent, come walking out of the shadows of this strange hallway, and he's got this really sinister grin on his face. And then you see these eyes begin to light up from the inside of the shadows right behind him, taller than he is. And something of a flashback occurs, because these things start to come out, and they look like the half-dead monstrosities that were seen before, nearly a year ago, whenever you were all investigating massive, interspatial disturbances. And the kid looked like he was being captured, and you tried everything to save him, and then you realize now this boy never meant to be saved. That these entities that now come crawling out with their, grotesquely elongated limbs, the jaws kind of being much wider than they should be, strange sort of like stuttering hisses that are coming from out of them, the glowing eyes and the rest of it. Nightmares. Every last one of them. And it seems like this kid is somehow or another creating them. So he was never in danger that day. He was the one that was making them.
Of course.
But you can see the Scarecrow and his influence all over this kid. It would appear that Scarecrow found a buddy. A sinister, disturbed, sociopathic hellchild with which to go play with. And that would be the reason why you haven't seen much from anything else, because it's starting to snap into your head. The Scarecrow made a fucking friend.
Dun, dun, dun.
John's reaction is, fuck me, that kid ain't human. At least not anymore.
It would have been better if you'd done the hand kill of that boy right.
So these creatures begin to flood the room, and that is where we will call it for the evening.
It's going to be fun when we get back next week, because I have True Sight activated. So I'm going to see the reality of all that.
And it will be god effing awful. I am certain of that.
I feel like I should make my sanity a little higher, because I've gone through a few things that should have rocked me to my core, and I've been through it.
Well, yeah, you've also, not to mention the fact that with what you were basically bent out of shape with, whenever you were more or less mind-screwed by the, the silver-eyed freak show. So, I mean, I have to agree, you're pretty much accurate here, so.
I have specifically put points into empathy for Barrick, every couple of months. I can't do it anymore. Yeah, I love it. But I've specifically put points into empathy because Barrick started, I think, at a 5 or a 6.
I'm gonna see if I can upgrade it now. My empathy.
That'd be good.
It gets expensive.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to find out. Oh, there's no way. I've only got 32 points available now. I have 7 empathy right now, so I'd need 80 points to get it upgraded, or 70 points to get it upgraded.
70, yeah. That's like I spent probably 150 points or something to move it 5 up to an 8.
I made sure at the beginning my luck was 10 though.
Man, we've
Very
had so
nice.
many people like show up and watch this stuff in the end run, and it just occurred to me, it's like I should ask, like, chat, like, how do you think it went, that kind of thing. Like, so, how do you think it went?
We're all gonna die.
We're all gonna die!
Wow, subtle, Scott. No, very subtle.
What? That's my number 1 fan.
Dee, did you look at the world building chat?
I glanced
oh
at
my
it a
God.
couple of times.
Those stats.
Those stats. Look at the stats of our document right now. 46 pages, 25,000 words.
Quick 25,000 words.
Characters, no spaces. Jesus. Yeah, that's psychotic. It's so awesome, though.
Yeah.
Let's get in there.
All right. Well, that was a good
Night.
session.
Neon. Night.
Yeah. I just accepted all the changes. Like wherever it's at right now, I like basically wiped away all the changes we had pending, and they're there.
Mm-hmm. Darn right.
Very nice.
I enjoyed that. That was nice.
Yeah. It's nice to get the scarecrow back.
The music was
I mean, right now.
perfect.
It's nice and that ominous. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
it's super
no.
ominous.
It was like building, 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 and then
Ah.
Yeah, I love bringing back this odd little cameo because I was like, everybody was so
I remember
concerned
we
with-
tried grabbing him. Like we
Yep.
tried like ah, like,
Yep.
and we
Did
thought
you
he was
like-
in trouble.
The headshots don't always kill things.
Yep. Very interesting set of moments. But, all right. Well, thanks to our viewer